Recording in progress.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the December 6th, 2021 meeting of the Personnel Commission of Long Beach City College. Thank you for joining us this evening. We appreciate your attendance. We're going to start off by having the Pledge of Allegiance, and I'm going to ask my son, Josh, to please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Everyone could please stand and put their right hand over their heart. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Thank you. Roll call. Jeff?
Here.
Robin?
I am here.
And I'm here. We're all in attendance this evening. Public comments on agenda items. Juliet, do we have anything from the public this evening?
Nothing was received, Janine.
Thank you, Julia. On to commissioner appointment oath of office for myself for the term December 1st, 2021 to December 1st, 2024. And for this, I asked my son, Josh, to please swear me in. My son is our only child. He went to Los Alamitos High School. He took classes at Long Beach City College when he was during the summer. So he was able to get some more credits, and then he graduated from USC in policy planning and development with an emphasis in real estate development. He's now a real estate consultant in, he lives in the Palms area of LA and works in Brentwood. And he's a huge sports fan. I don't know where he got that. And I'm very proud of him. He makes me a better person. He always makes me think about things that I wouldn't think about in a youthful way. And he changes my mind in a positive way. And I thank him for that. So I asked him to please join us and swear me in tonight. So with that, Josh, if you wouldn't mind standing, and I'll stand. Do you have the oath?
Yeah, hold on just a second.
Okay.
Sorry.
Oh,
You can still see me.
Yeah, I can see you. I'm gonna just tilt mine up a little bit.
Okay. I, Janine McManigal Ball, do solemnly swear
I, Janine McManigal Ball, do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California
and the Constitution of the State of California
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of the United States
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California,
and the Constitution of the State of California,
that I take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion,
that I take this, can you say it again, please? That I take this
obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion,
without any reservation or mental purpose of evasion.
mental reservation or purpose of evasion,
Mental reservation or purpose of evasion.
and that I will well and faithfully discharge
And that I will well and faithfully discharge
the duties upon which I am about to enter.
the duties upon which I'm about to enter.
That's it.
Thank you, sweetie.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thanks for doing that. I appreciate it. It's a lot different when we're not in person.
Yeah.
All right. So now I've lost my agenda. Darn it.
congratulations, by the way.
Thank you, Jeff.
Congratulations, Janine. And
Thank you.
Josh, well done.
Thank you, sweetheart. Thank you, Robin.
I always tell people that oath that you just gave, I know we're at the one end of the political food chain, but that oath of office is given from the President of the United States all the way down.
Yeah,
It's the
it's pretty
same oath.
great. Yep.
So that's always amazing when I hear it. Of course, I've heard it so many times, I've memorized it, but congratulations.
You've had to recite it so many times, Jeff.
And Janine,
Yes.
Janine, you
Yes,
earned
Robin.
this. This
Thank
isn't
you.
given. You earned it, and it's well deserved.
Thank
And
you.
I am so proud to serve with you and Jeff. It really does lift my spirits. And so I am so happy to continue. And I'm very proud to be part of this group. Thank you.
Thank you, Robin. It's just an honor and so thrilling to sit beside you and Jeff. I have a great mentorship, great leadership, and just brilliance on both sides of me. And I sure appreciate that. You've added so much to this group, and Jeff, you as well. So thank you so much. With that, we're going to go on to the reorganization of the Personnel Commission. And the first thing we're going to do is select our chairperson. May I have nominations, please, for chair?
I would be happy to nominate Jeff Kellogg.
Thank you, Robin. I'd like to second that. Is there any additional nominations? Hearing and seeing none, we'll go ahead and vote. Robin?
I vote aye.
Jeff?
I vote aye.
And I vote aye. That passes unanimously. And with that, I turn over the reins to Mr. Kellogg.
Now, wait a second. I didn't know I had to take it over. Thank you.
Very good.
And you know, whenever you get in these positions and do these things, it is an honor. And we are doing some very serious business, and it's an enjoyable group. And not only do sometimes that enjoyable group and doing the business at hand don't always go together quite well in these political times. So, I'm humbled and honored to do it. And also, Janine, thank you for not only the years of service, but the past year being in the chair position. It's never easy, but I still haven't figured out the whole Zoom concept, and you did it this whole year. So I guess we'll have Zoom cake and punch for you at some other time to honor your tenure as the chairman again of the.
Thank you, Jeff.
With that, I'm going to open it up for during the annual the reorganization, and now I'm going to ask for nominees for the selection of the vice chairman, please.
I'd like to nominate Robin Gordon Peterson.
And I will second that. There's a motion and a second for Robin to become the vice chairperson. I do this very fast, and my apologies, folks. I have to slow myself down. Roll call. Janine, please.
Aye.
Robin?
Aye.
And I vote aye. Congratulations, Robin, as the new vice chairperson of the Personnel Commission.
Well,
Very
thank you
well.
so very much, Jeff and Janine. And Janine, you got that out fairly quickly because I was going to nominate you to take that vice chair position.
Very
but
sweet.
I accepted.
You are
And I
the
appreciate
deserving person right now, for sure.
Thank you so much. I will do my best. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you. We're now moving forward to, this is item H on our agenda, the annual appointment of the Executive Director, Classified Human Resources of the Personnel Commission Secretary. This is one that always throws us. This is Jennifer, correct, Jennifer?
Correct.
So could I entertain a motion to approve a secretary for the Personnel Commission, please?
I move that we reappoint Jennifer as Executive Director, Classified Human Resources as Personnel Commission Secretary.
And I'll second.
Motion and a second. Roll call vote. Janine?
Aye.
And Robin?
Aye.
And I vote aye as well. Congratulations, Jennifer.
Congratulations, Jennifer.
Did she leave the room?
She might have. And if it's okay with everyone, I'm going to ask my son if he could leave the room because I know he's got work to do. He works from home. Thanks, sweetheart. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Josh, thank you so much. You did a great job for someone who does not administer the oath frequently. I hope you aren't anyway, but you did a great job and I enjoyed meeting you this evening. Thank you so much, Josh.
Thank you.
Bye, sweetheart. Thank you.
All right, we're moving on to item L. This is the approval of minutes. If there's no corrections or objections to the minutes for our last meeting, can I entertain a motion to approve the minutes?
I move approval.
Motion
Robin,
by,
I think you're on mute, Robin. There you go.
I second.
there's a motion and a second to approve the minutes. Roll call. Janine?
Aye.
Robin?
Aye.
And I vote aye. The minutes have been approved. New business. Item A. This is approved eligibility list for admissions and records technician 1. Could I first entertain a motion to approve?
I'll move approval.
Motion, can I have a second, please?
Second.
Motion and a second. Discussion on this item.
We received 169 applications for this position. 15 individuals passed the subject matter expert review and 6 were placed on the eligibility list. And 3 of those applicants were internal candidates.
Questions, members of the Personnel Commission at this time on this item? Hearing none. Roll call vote. Janine?
Aye.
Robin?
Aye.
And I vote aye. Item A of new business is passed. Item B, approval eligibility list, ground maintenance worker. First time I entertain a motion to approve. Part of the discussion.
I'll make the motion.
Motion
And I'll
by
second.
Robin, second by Janine. Discussion on this item.
We received 31 applications, Jeff. 4 passed the subject matter expert review and 0 of those individuals were internal applicants in this case.
By the way, I don't know what Janine, you got to look at, but it's here. Anyone that wants to speak is just going to have to interrupt me. I'm not seeing anything on my screens. So if you're waving at me, I'm not seeing it. So just don't feel bad for which I don't have to remind this group. But anyway, if there's no other questions or comments on
I actually have a question.
Robin?
And it's just a little sidebar to this, Jennifer. When you say subject matter review, for a grounds maintenance worker, can you just give me just a high level? What would that be?
So all of the applications have the demographic data redacted so that the reviewers don't know anything about the applicant except for their qualifications. And then there's criteria that they rate them on a scale from 1 to 5 points. And after we compile all of the scores, we look at the distribution of scores and set a pass point based on the break-in.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Questions, comments at this time? Hearing none, roll call. Janine?
Aye.
Robin?
Aye.
I vote aye. Motion carries. Item C, approval eligibility list, vocational instructional technician electrical. Can I entertain a motion to approve, please?
I'll make the
move approval.
motion.
I'll
Motion
second.
by Robin, second by Janine. Discussion item on this one.
We received 12 applications in this case. 3 individuals passed the SME review and 0 of those were internal applicants.
Question, comments at this time? Hearing none. Roll call. Janine?
Aye.
Aye.
Robin?
Aye.
I vote aye. That motion carries. Item C carries. Item D. Item D is approval of the advanced salary placement for athletic coordinator. It is Ashley. Is it Rippon or Rippon? That's pretty close. Could I entertain a motion to approve item D, please?
I move approval.
Motion. Is there a second?
I second.
Motion and a second. Discussion on this one. Jennifer?
So the minimum qualifications for this role is a bachelor's degree and 3 years of experience with a master's degree desirable. The candidate comes to us with a master's degree and 11 years of relevant experience. This is also a single incumbent position, so there's no internal equity concerns.
Thank you.
Other question, comments from the members at this time? My only simple question is athletic coordinator. Is this the one that works with the student athletes on their academic side? Do you know, Jennifer?
I think they're coordinating more the various sports teams, and I'm not sure they're involved in the academic piece. I'd have to look into
okay.
that.
Okay, I just wasn't sure by looking at the athletic coordinator. All right, very good. No other questions, comments? Roll call. Janine?
Aye.
Robin?
Aye.
And I vote aye. D passes. Item E, approve the advanced salary placement custodian. This is for Christopher Bartici.
I move
Is there-
approval.
Motion to approve, please. Motion, I heard a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
That motion is second. Discussion, Jennifer?
The minimum qualifications in this case is high school and some experience. The candidate has 2 months working as an LTE custodian already with management experience as well.
Questions, comments, members of the commission? Hearing
Hi,
none.
Kevin.
Hearing none. Roll call. Janine,
Aye.
Robin,
Aye.
and I vote aye. E passes. Item F, approval of advanced salary placement. This is for financial aid accounting technician. It's Laura Jimerez. Can I entertain a motion, please, on this item to approve?
I move approval.
Motion and second, please.
Second.
Motion and second. Discussion. Jennifer?
Candidate has college coursework and 6 years of financial aid experience, which is double what's required for this position.
Is this an internal candidate?
I do not believe so, no.
Okay.
Financial aid becomes so critical now. Other questions, comments, members of the commission? Hearing none, roll call. Janine?
Aye.
Robin?
Aye.
I vote aye. Item F is approved. Item G, approval for advanced salary placement. This is instructional aid, Student Success Center, Jason Liggins. Can I entertain a motion to approve this item, please?
I move approval.
Motion, a second.
Second.
Motion, a second. Discussion. Jennifer?
The minimum qualifications are high school and some experience. The candidate has an associate's degree and 5 years of relevant experience in education.
Very good.
Robert and I both were looking at the same thing. That's good to hear. Other
Yes, we
comments?
are.
Personnel commissioners, any other comments at this time on item G? Hearing none, roll call. Janine?
Aye.
Robin?
Aye.
I vote aye. The G passes. Item H, approval for the advanced salary placement, instructional aid, student service center. This is Emily Guzman. Entertain a motion, please.
I move approval.
There's a motion, a second.
Second.
Motion, a second. Discussion items. Jennifer?
This candidate has a bachelor's degree and 6 years of experience in relation to the high school GED and some experience that's required. Also looking in comparison to the previous candidate, due to the advanced degree, the internal equity is aligned at step C.
Questions, comments, personnel commissioners? Hearing
So
none.
can you, no, I'm
ahead.
sorry, Jeff, I'm not
Go ahead.
fast enough. I have a question. You said that what was needed, high school, and we accepted what?
So high school and some experience is the minimum qualifications for instructional aid student success center. And in this particular case, the candidate has a bachelor's degree and 6 years of experience in education.
Thank you.
Other questions, comments at this time from personnel commissioners? Hearing none, roll call on item H. Janine?
Aye.
And Robin?
Aye.
And I vote aye. Item H passes. Item I, approval of advanced salary placement, instructional aid, student success center. This is for a John Harmon. Can I entertain a motion to approve, please?
I move approval.
There's a motion, a second.
I'll second.
There's a motion and a second. Discussion items on this. Jennifer?
Class title, same minimum qualification threshold, and this candidate has a master's degree and 5 years of experience in the DSPS department.
Questions, comments, members of the board? All right, members of the Personnel Commission, please.
So we're only asking for high school and some experience, and we have a master's candidate taking the position?
That's correct.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
That is correct.
Just because it's a DSPA, or is it just, I mean, I think we all have had this discussion too many times for a quote unquote entry level. Was it the fact that this is particular to the DSPA? DSPA, did I do that right? Disabled students, yeah.
Programs and services, disabled students programs and services. The candidate showed an interest in the position and applied and competed, and they went through the entire selection process and they made it in the finalists batch.
Well, of course they would. They were far more qualified than anyone else. What if someone with a PhD applies? Then the PhD is going to get a position. This is an entry-level position, according to high school and some experience. How does the person with high school and some experience get the position if they're never qualified? That is something we simply must get to. I don't want to continue to bring this up. I want to find a way to work on this. This is very important to me because I don't know how anyone can ever get into an entry-level position at the college.
To that point, Robin, I'm sorry, that's why my follow-up question is always, it really comes down to salary, because if you're an entry-level individual, you probably are expecting to get paid at a certain level. But if you are someone that maintains a master's degree, you probably come in and say, so that's where I don't know if the disconnect is. I don't know if we're paying our salary, because then it gets into quote unquote competitive ranges. But I don't understand, like you just stated. We're really trying to help people get into the workforce. And if they are going to constantly be competing with people with master's and advanced degrees for an entry-level position, the only way I can think of is that if they want that job, they're going to be paid accordingly of someone with a high school degree. That's where the disconnect is. No one is going to go through a review process and have all those qualifications and not get the job. I mean, it's just human nature. But I just don't. Somehow we've got to find a way to balance this playing field to where we're doing what we intend to do, and that's for, if it's an entry-level job, it's an entry-level job, and it doesn't require a master's. So, or let's just admit the fact that we're looking for master candidates only. So I don't know. We've been stumping on this for the entire year. I
understand, Jeff, and I don't want to beat a dead horse, and I don't want to continue to address this. So we have to find a fix for this, or my votes will start to be no, because I'm concerned that there is no entry-level jobs at the college. And if that's the case, then we are not working with our entire community. We're only working within a community of academians. And that's not what I thought this was about.
Robin, I agree wholeheartedly.
I thought it was about fairness and equity. And if we're saying, okay, we're open, you need high school and some experience, well, then I'm going to jump up with my master's every time and take the job. And I want us to move forward, but we need help in this area. Jennifer, I'm going to need to get some help from you on how do we work this out where it's palatable for everyone concerned. And I'll step back. Thank you.
I want to comment on that, and I agree with Jeff and Robin and the general theory, but I do want to say on this particular one, the Student Success Center and an instructional aid is very much academic, and so I wonder if what we're offering as far as requirements for the job aren't lower than they should be. And, maybe it's not an entry-level job, and maybe we need to rethink that. And I know there's been different thought processes within the Personnel Commission and within the directors over the time that I've been on for the last 15 years that we're kind of in opposition of each other. And so it may be something we want to talk about in a bigger picture in another meeting, but I do understand how somebody who's academic, coming in with a master's would look at that title and say, this makes sense for me. I'm kind of on both sides, and I don't know where to go with that. Like I said, I've heard both sides of this discussion for 15 years, and it's a challenging one, but I completely agree with you.
And this is the other thing. Of course, when we're talking about student success, of course, I want the master's degree. I want the best for our students.
Right.
But I only advertised for high school and some experience.
Right.
And so the person coming out of high school that has a little bit of experience applies for the job and doesn't get it, and then finds out during one of our meetings that a person's with a master's degree got the position. So they were never even up for consideration to begin with.
Right.
So I just want to reconcile this. And again, it isn't anyone's fault. It just happens to be, but we need to find a way to rectify the situation.
Right. And
I'm not going to lie to you. When you say student success, of course I want the master's degree, because I want the best for our students.
Sure.
But then let's not advertise high school and some experience.
Yeah, no, I agree. I completely agree with you, Robin.
I really believe that somewhere in the process, when people are reviewing resumes and so on, the question I would have is, I don't understand how someone who's a master, has a degree, advanced degree, Jennifer, is the salary advertised as well for these positions? Because if it's an entry level, you would think it's a certain range. But so my question is there an actual salary range we put in this process so people, when they look at the job opportunities, they also see a salary range as well?
Always advertise the title and the salary range right up front. We advertise whether the position is part-time or full-time. So yes, Jeff, to answer your question. So the applicants are fully aware of the level of work that they're applying for.
Okay. So on this position, for example, and I'm just curious about, what is the salary range for this position? By definition, is a entry-level position. What is the range roughly? Or when we post it, what was the posted range for this item? Or is that something that you can't pull up right away?
Instructional aid is at range 16. So for monthly starts at $3,087.43 and goes all the way up to $3,787.21. That's if it's full-time monthly.
That's monthly. So we're really not talking about if you're talking about 3,000 times 10 is 30, so it's another $36,000 a year for full time. Really? Did I just do my math right?
No, it's not very much.
Wow.
No, it isn't.
Okay, that really surprises me, because if you're talking, $36,000 a year roughly for a full-time position with a master's degree, wow. That's very interesting. So because the salary is really then geared towards an entry-level person.
Sure.
Interesting.
So we've talked about the competitiveness of the labor market, maybe factoring into this. We've also talked about the attractiveness of LBCC as an employer. So again, we can't dissuade individuals who have advanced credentials or experience or backgrounds to not apply.
Of course.
So I agree that it's a fine balancing act, and it's something worth pursuing and discussing further to see if we can reach a resolution.
Thanks, Jennifer.
Yeah, that's interesting. That would be a very interesting, just a roundtable discussion at another time. But no, thank you for that information as well.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
There is a motion and a second on item I. No other discussion at this time. I'll call a roll call. Janine?
Aye.
Robin?
Aye.
And I vote aye on item I. That item carries. Item J, approval.
That item I or item J?
No, that was item I.
Okay, sorry.
That was for John Harmon. Item J, as in Jeff, approve the advanced salary placement instructional aid student success center. This is for Teresa Sanchez. Could I entertain a motion to approve on this item?
I move approval.
There is a motion. Could I have a second, please?
I second.
The motion and a second. Discussion on item J. Jennifer.
So same class title, same pay range that we've been discussing for the last few items. This individual has a bachelor's degree in child development.
Question, comments, commissioners? Hearing none. Roll call. Janine?
Aye.
Robin?
Aye.
And I vote aye. J passes. K, approve advanced salary placement, instructional aid, Student Success Center. This is for Nicole Morales. I entertain a motion to approve the item, please.
I move approval.
Motion, a second, please.
Second.
Motion and a second. Discussion on item K. Jennifer.
We have in this case, the minimum threshold similar is high school GED and some experience. And this individual has a bachelor's degree and 6 years of experience in education.
Question, comments, commissioners? Hearing none, I'll do roll call on item K. Janine?
Aye.
Robin?
Aye.
I vote aye on K. K passes. Item L, approve the extension of working out of class assignments, Executive Director, Information Systems and Technology. That's Robert Carmen. I entertain a motion to approve this item, please.
I move approval.
Motion a second, please.
Second. Second.
Discussion item on this one, Jennifer.
This is a result of the SERP, the retirement of the previous incumbent due to the SERP. And this individual has been working out of class. So it's just an extension of the existing working out of class arrangement. We are in the process of kicking off this recruitment. So we should be able to move this along in the next couple of months.
Comments, questions, commissioners? Hearing none, roll call on item L. Janine?
Aye.
Robin?
Aye.
Aye on L. L passes. Item M, approval of extension of working out of class assignment, administrative assistant. This is for Megan Jenkins. Could I entertain a motion, please, to approve?
I move approval.
There's a motion, a second, please.
Second.
There's a motion, a second. Discussion on this item. Jennifer.
This employee is currently being borrowed from the communications department. So it's an arrangement to address a workload issue. And it's an extension for a couple more months for that reason.
Comments, commissioners? Hearing none. Roll call on item M. Janine?
Aye.
Robin?
Aye.
And I vote aye. M passes. Item N, approval of extension of working out of class assignment. This is for administrative support manager. This is it Kaya Perlis? There's a, can I entertain a motion to approve this item, please?
I move approval.
There's a motion and a second, please.
Second.
Motion and a second. Discussion on this item. Jennifer.
Pat and I actually joined us tonight. So thank you, Pat, for being here again. I know you were here at the last meeting. I'll go ahead and turn it over to you.
Thank you, Jennifer. Good evening, commissioners. Congratulations on all your new assignments. And to Janine, I'm excited that you're remaining with the Board of Commissioners, and I look forward to seeing you work together in the future.
Thanks.
So this is a role that's pretty integral to our economic development department. This is Mylin Perlis. This is a position we do intend to go out for recruitment for. We should have by now, but we've been dealing with a lot of sort of extra workloads through the pandemic. So I'm hoping to kick this off after the holidays so we don't have to keep extending this one, but it is a pretty critical role to the economic development department.
Pat, question, comments, commissioners? Pat, it is Malin. Has she been here? She has been with us for a while, has she not?
She has been, yeah. She's been a part of my programs for quite some time.
That's why I think she's been with us for quite a period of time that I remember. So
yeah.
As always, give you an opportunity to say what great work the unsung heroes of community colleges, especially Long Beach, is with what your area handles. I mean, it really is. I wish people understood how successful Long Beach is in this area, for not just Long Beach, but for the whole region. So if there's no other questions, comments, members of the commission at this time, I'll do roll call. Janine?
Aye.
And Robin?
Aye.
I vote aye. N passes. Thank you, Pat.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Pat.
Pat.
Item O, approval extension of working out of class assignment, athletic coordinator. This is for Christy Lutz. Do I entertain a motion to approve, please?
I move approval.
I second.
Second, thank you. Discussion, Jennifer.
The advanced salary placement request early in the agenda is for this position. So we are very close to filling the position. So we just need a little bit of an extension. And to answer your question from earlier, Jeff, the position does coordinate and oversee intercollegiate athletic programs. So nothing involved with the academic piece.
Okay. Wow, okay, that's good to know. It's good to know we have an intercollegiate program still. Happy about that. Questions, comments, commissioners? Hearing none, I'll do roll call. Janine?
Aye.
Robin?
Aye.
And I vote aye. I vote aye, so O passes. P, approval extension of working out a class assignment. This is for the budget office. This is Sen Chow. I'll entertain a motion to approve, please.
I move approval.
There's a motion,
Second.
second, please. Motion is second. Discussion item on this item. Jennifer?
This has been an ongoing request since my time with the district, and it's really just to address the additional workload and complexity of the work being performed while we complete the class and comp study.
Very good. Questions from commissioners? Hearing none. Roll call. Janine?
Aye.
Robin?
Aye.
I vote aye. P passes. Item Q, approve the extension of working out a class assignment. This is for custodian supervisor. This is David Mendoza. David Mendoza. Oh, okay. I entertain a motion to approve.
I move approval.
Motion is second, please.
Second.
Motion is second. Discussion item on this one. Jennifer?
Custodial supervisor 1 was moved up to custodial supervisor 2 to provide training to the entire custodial staff. So this individual's backfilling for that individual.
Question, comments from commissioners? Hearing none. Roll call on item Q. Janine?
Aye.
Robin?
Aye.
And I vote aye. Q passes. Item R, approval extension of working out a class assignment. Executive Director, Classified Human Resources. I can't quite make out her name, so we'll just have to pass it.
I am
Jennifer
very
Ramos.
happy to move approval.
Yeah, this is, may I entertain a motion to approve in a second, please? There's a
I'm very
motion-
happy to move approval.
Motion in a second, please.
I'll give a second. I do have questions.
All right, the motion is second. Questions, comments from, I'll start with, not with Jennifer, but I'll start with the commissioners. Robin?
The extension end date is March 1st, 2022. And I'm just wondering why we chose that as an extension date.
Jennifer?
It's hard for me to speak to this item considering it's myself, but it's my understanding that the existing leave was extended through the end of February.
That is correct. It's simply been tied into this continually ongoing leave issue. And so it always
Understood.
goes a few months out each time. I don't remember the last time, but that's what I remember. No, good question. Other questions, comments? Beyond saying, Jennifer, you've been doing phenomenal work for us and for the classified staff in the college. So thank you so much for all your dedication.
I do
Other
have
members at
one
this time?
question, Jeff.
Go ahead, Janine.
Do we know, do we have an indefinite working out of class policy? Jennifer, do you know?
Jennifer, I think that's a question to sometimes an attorney. This is going to be one of those. This is one of those. I'll answer a non-attorney question. This
Then
is
I'll
a
give you an
case
attorney
study.
response. It depends, Janine.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
This is a case study that will be in the California Community College system. They'll use this as an example of things that you could never even imagine.
So I think that the intent of working out of class is for short durations of time. Obviously with leaves, there's unforeseen circumstances that occur, and that happens to be the case with the current leave. And it does fall under the catastrophic leave category. So that's what makes it a little bit more unique than other leaves. But yes, generally speaking, I don't think it extends for multiple years, but in this case it does.
Thanks, Jennifer.
Other question, comments at this time? Hearing none. Roll call, Janine.
Absolutely. Yes.
Robin.
Absolutely, yes.
I have to vote absolutely to make it unanimous then. So congratulations. Item R passes. We're now into the information items. This is to receive the faculty and staff ethnic diversity annual update for 2021. This is an item that went before the board of trustees. So I'll turn it over to Jennifer at this time. There's no vote on this. This is just a receive item if I'm correct on this. So Jennifer.
So Jeff, you're right. This is purely informational. So I'd like to skip the first several slides. Let's go ahead and turn your attention to slide 12. This is where it starts to pertain to the classified service. And so slide 12 covers the diversity of management at the college based on existing staff. And you'll see that it's a longitudinal study. It does span over 4 years from fiscal year 16-17 all the way to the previous fiscal year 2021. And you'll see that the numbers remain consistent or up in most ethnic categories over the previous fiscal year. There was a small drop in the number of current managers, 6 to be exact, from 147 to 141. But as you may recall, we had the SERP in June of 2021. So the drop is attributed to the retirement of at least 3 classified managers and 2 academic managers that we were able to account for, pretty close to that 6 number. And despite the decrease, we're happy to see that percentage of diversity has remained stable at 55% over the previous fiscal year. Next slide, please. Slide 13 covers recruitment trends for the classified bargaining unit. And I'd like to point out that the volume of applications is way up, 1,371 total. There are increases in every ethnic category. Last year it was down due to the pandemic, but things have certainly picked up. And there's a very high interest in working for LBCC in every ethnic category. So we're happy to see that. And just to give you an idea, the Personnel Commission team ran about 28 recruitments in fiscal year 19-20. And we've run nearly double that amount and closer to, we've run over 55 recruitments in fiscal year 2021 alone. And what we're most excited about is the conversion numbers from those recruitment efforts. So the ethnic diversity of classified staff that are actually hired increased from 75% to 94% when we look at the total number of permanent placements of classified staff. Next slide. So our final slide, slide 14, covers the diversity of our 480 classified staff members at the college in fiscal year 2021. We see numbers up or similar in most ethnic categories, 4 of the 5 categories, with an overall increase from 66 to 67%. So we've gone up each year over the past 3 years. So we're going to continue in HR to focus on our diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives and all of our HR practices, from recruitment, retention, and rewarding our staff. And again, thank you for the opportunity to share these diversity results with the Personnel Commission.
Questions,
and
comments?
That concludes our presentation.
Questions or comments from commissioners? I'll just start. If you had an opportunity to look at the entire report, congratulations to, especially on the classified staff on this side, looking at their outreach, et cetera. So there have obviously been some very good things going on, especially during challenging times. Where there's other categories in there if you want to scroll through the entire report, and that has more to do with an area that's really not our area, but that's with your full-time faculty and adjunct faculty. That's where there's still some challenges in those categories. But as far as in regard to classified staff, it's been an ongoing for years of how to address it. And I know the college has been taking some good hard steps and looking at how they go and they address the issue to have the college reflect the community. Other questions, comments, commissioners?
Great job to the staff for putting that together, and the numbers look great. I'm just really proud of the work that is done.
If there's no other comments on this item, we'll move on to the next item, which is, thank you, Jennifer. And that is the next meeting, which will be in the new year, 2022. It'll be for January 10th at 5 o'clock via Zoom. I am really hoping that we will be out of Zoom in 2022. How about that for a prediction? Wow. If we don't, something's happened that I don't even want to think about. So anyway, that's our next meeting. So just put it on your calendar. And we're now to closing items. Comments from staff or participants before I get to the commissioners. Robert, I know you're there. Others or staff, any comments at this time?
I'll keep my comments short and sweet, Jeff. I really just want to congratulate Janine. She's been serving on the commission since 2009, and we're really happy to have you, Janine, continue with us. And also Jeff and Robin, congratulations on your appointments to chair and vice chair.
Thank you.
I look forward to working.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jennifer.
Other comments? Robert, did you?
Yeah, I've got a couple of things people asked me to bring forward. One, if I'll just make a quick comment, we currently have someone in the chancellor's office that's been there since Eli started, 3 years. And we have a person backfilling out of class. So it doesn't matter if it's major, it could just be powerful as well. So it just depends on your take on that one. So as it stands, we can leave someone out of class indefinitely as long as they're working in the chancellor's office. That's just a comment. Thing. It's just, it is what it is. I do want to bring a couple points.
No. Let's back up, Robert. We're going to back up just a little bit. What we need to really decide is that is what it is. If that is what's in the manual and that is the rule that we have to go by, then we live with it. But if you're saying that this is a gray area that warrants further discussion, then that's what we need to do. But it is what it is. That doesn't work for me. So Jennifer, tell us. Robert brings up a very good point. 3 years. 3 years.
The PC rules, maybe it's something we can revisit when we have the rules committee resume. From what I recall, and I'll look it up and I'll have a more definitive answer at the next meeting, there's no statute of or time frame or statute of limitation, I would say, on the working out of class. It's meant for cases where there is a vacancy, a true vacancy that is unfilled, or a leave of absence. And an extended leave of absence, it's generally due to medical reasons. So it's only for a vacancy or a leave when working out of class situations usually are applied. But that's something that, I mean, it's a valid point. And if we want to add a time frame to that, that would be something we have to do through the PC Rules Committee.
All right. Thank you, Jennifer. And Robert, I think that you're bringing this to our attention again, because we've spoken on it. It means that as commissioners, we need to go back and see when we'll have time to go back and revisit those rules. Jennifer has brought it up to us before that we did have a committee at one time. So Robert, that's where we're going to table this for now, but we're not going to just go as we have been. We, as commissioners, will look into it and see what we need to do. So I think it was important for you to bring it up, and it does warrant further discussion.
I appreciate it. And it's not so much that I mind holding the position for the person. It's just that the person's that been sitting there doesn't get any step raises, doesn't get vacation. So, I mean, should be a certain time limit. I'm reasonable because we're actually holding something and punishing someone else who has been holding that job and can't do anything about it. I mean, I just don't think it's absolutely fair for that person.
I thought we resolved the vacation and step increase issue. That's my recollection, but I might be wrong on that. Jennifer, can you give us some insight on that?
So I know that in this last round, there were fewer than, I believe, 6 individuals who had been in positions. I think maybe it was 3 or 4 individuals who had been in a working out of class position at a higher level for more than a year. And we did, for the first time this last go around, look at step increases for those individuals.
So are those in place for all current and future out-of-class employees, or was that a one-time deal?
It was the first time that it was applicable this year. So it's something we certainly want to look at through the rules committee and build into the language so we're consistent moving forward.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you.
And this is what Shani Weber, who's the vice chancellor right now for the workforce development, when she followed Eloy up, well, didn't follow, but she moved up there. And I don't know if she's physically working in Sacramento or not. I think so, but nonetheless, yeah, it's always one of those, you try to make sure people they take these positions with the assurance that they are not giving up their old positions. So when they drop back into it, but when do you finally reach that point where you're no longer going to drop back into that previous position? So, but the bigger issue is what you said, and I'm glad Jennifer's the person that steps into that role, making sure that they're compensated properly. It's not fair to them. So it's a good item and something we can obviously look at more closely in the future. So very good. Robert, I'm sorry, you had some other items though? Yes or no?
Yeah, I had some constituents reach out to me this week, and they had questions about what's posted online for the Dropbox for their reclass. And I understand why it was done the way it was, but they want a definitive answer why, in this particular case, one individual with 20 years experience is picked over another one to become a senior level person. So you've got people with multiple years of experience and one person's picked out and the other is not. I mean, if you were saying everyone over a certain level of experience becomes senior, I'd understand, but there's a certain level. I don't get why one person can be picked out in a reclass to be moved into a new position where the others aren't even given a shot to apply for it. I mean, if you want to create a position and want to create a ladder, that's awesome. I'm all for it. But at the same time, I think there should be open competition to make everyone equitable to have a chance at that new position and not just pick someone through a reclass. And I know it's not Jennifer picking these positions, so it's someone in the management area picking who they want to raise up to those areas. And I don't know if that's equitable and fair to everyone if they're not going through the hiring process and competing for the job. And that's what they asked me to bring forward.
Well, I'm glad you did,
Mhm.
because I was under the impression that positions are posted and that there's a competitive process. And that we strive for that, to have an open competitive process. So can you help me out here? What am I missing?
So there are a few cases where senior levels were created, Robert. In those cases, management had to provide evidence that the individual had been already operating at a more complex senior, maybe providing work direction, maybe not necessarily supervision, but work direction, training and development over staff in the area for at least 18 months. The PC rules clearly state that reclassifications require work at that higher level for at least 18 months. So that was a factor that was reviewed as part of the reclass request.
So just so I understand, because I'm a little confused, and so I apologize. So let me make sure I think I've missed something. So a manager determined that a person was working out of classification in a position and doing more, and so they're going to move them into a higher position, and we don't advertise or allow anyone who feels they're qualified to pursue that position. Is that what I'm hearing?
Well, in those cases, which is very few, far and few between, I think there maybe is Robert, do you know of 3 or 4 scenarios like that?
Roughly.
Yeah, roughly. So we're looking at, through the study, again, looking back several years at the level of work being performed. And what we're saying is there's not an existing class that reflects the level of work that's being performed. So we have to create a new layer or level. And in that case, the work has already been done at that level by the incumbent. And then that would qualify them for a reclassification upward. Otherwise, we can create a new title, a new level, and go through a competitive process. But that's when nobody's been operating that at that level.
Well, how would anyone know if I'm qualified or not, if I'm not given an opportunity to compete for the position? You've allowed someone to work at that classification for 18 months, and that's what the manager determined. He cherry picked someone to work at in that position for 18 months, and then lo and behold, they're more qualified than everyone else. So then that means when he cherry picked, he selected who he wanted to get promoted. That's not a competitive process, is it? Or did I miss something?
Well, generally, it's a gradual accretion of duties is what it's defined as. So it's not necessarily the senior level just magically exists and somebody's cherry picked for that role. It's just as the work evolves and things are adjusted and the workload changes, those gradual accretion of duties naturally occur. And so we account for that in the reclassification process.
Okay, and how do I get the opportunity to get those additional 18 months in this other position? How do I get to benefit? And then how does the manager know that I may not have the qualifications that he's looking for if he's never given me an opportunity? Because the job sort of creeped up with this other person in it and not in it. This doesn't I don't get that. I'm having a problem with it. In other words, I don't agree.
Yeah, and so the point
I think there needs to be an open process for all positions, period, and let the chips fall where they may, because then we say, look, there was a job, we opened it, we picked the most qualified person for it, and that's it. I already have to compete against people that have master's degrees, and I'm sitting on a high school education, but now other people get opportunities that I'm not getting. Robert, is that what you're saying? Or am I speaking out of turn here?
Yeah, that pretty much sums everything up. They're concerned because some of the other individuals that are in that same class are doing the same work and they just don't see the difference. And the manager made that choice, and that's his right. But I would see that it'd be fair that everyone competes and gets an open shot at showing what they can do. I just don't see, from what I'm told, I don't know personally the differences in what they do, but my understanding, they both pretty much do the same function.
I'd like to jump in and segue on this because this is similar to the conversation we had about the transfers in the last month or so. And I would like to suggest to my fellow commissioners that we agendize a study of what our transfer process looks like and try to make sure that it's clarified for all of us, but especially for our employees, so that it is equitable, it is fair, and it is consistent, because it's unclear to me. And I think that it's unclear to many of our employees from what I understand. And I think that it should be very systematic and very organized so that everyone's on the same page and understands what that process looks like, so that everyone can be aware of and able to compete for any position that might come open. I would just suggest that we would agendize this for a future meeting and have an at-length discussion about it.
I am in total agreement with you, Janine. My question would be then, how do we resolve what Robert has just brought to the table? I don't see us continuing on with the status quo because it doesn't resolve anything.
Right.
And he has to go back to his constituents and say, well, yes, I did bring this up, but they're going to talk about it. And then whatever is going to take place is taking place.
You're right.
So
we'd also have to ask the flip question for that, for the constituent who has been performing the more complex work. and that's already been analyzed and reviewed and recommended. So that individual is, and that individual has been performing the more complex work for 18 months or longer, then what do we do in that case?
He applies like everyone else, because if he's that qualified, he should get the job. It's an open process, whether you've been doing the job for 18 months or not. I have, and everyone else has a right to apply for it and let the best person get the job. And what if you found out that even though that person was doing the job for 18 months, lo and behold, when you had an open process, you found someone better qualified that could give you more, but you didn't know because you never gave them the opportunity to even to be competitive.
Mhm.
We don't know what we don't know. And so I'm just looking, the only thing that I'm looking for is an open, competitive, fair process for everyone concerned. And sliding someone into a position is not open and it's not fair to all concerned.
And it really undermines our purpose of the equity of the commission.
Right. And since we've had this discussion in the last few months about it, I think it's really, and so I believe it's a good suggestion to, I'll talk to Jennifer about when we can agendize something. The one way to address it is to have potentially the Personnel Commission have a vote on, people complain about bureaucracy in higher education because it moves slow. Well, there's a reason why it moves slow, is because it's required to jump through a lot of hurdles along the way, this being one of them. And so for me, it's a little bit of the optics of it all. If it just doesn't look right, even though the person may eventually get the position anyway, it's still a process where people feel they, at least their voices were heard and they were looked at, and not just, well, we already know what the answer is, so we're just going to jump to the answer. That's really not fair. And it's really not what, because of our system and what we are, we really can't allow it. And I know I've had the discussion about ask for forgiveness, not ask for permission, but I think one of the ways to just solidify from the Personnel Commission of all these positions, there's always rare cases, but those better be extremely rare, and that there's going to be a process. So I think it's a good suggestion that we can talk about it. I know we all are talking the same way. So Jennifer, I'll work with you to agendize it sometime in our next meeting or two, so we can have a discussion on this, and maybe just into again, our support from the Personnel Commission, giving direction on how this is to be addressed in all cases. And I think that will give people a comfort level, not only commissioners, but the people at the college as well, the constituency groups that are affected. So a good suggestion. So no, Robert, thank you for bringing it up in the comments from the commissioners, and let's just plan on putting the agenda. It doesn't necessarily address in the past, but sometimes you learn from the past and don't make a mistake in the future. And I like all of you, I agree, whether there's already someone who they feel is going to get the position, you still have to go through a process and not have a closed process. It's an issue of optics, but it's also an issue of fairness. So I agree. So I will do that. Jennifer, I'll work with you on that item. Robert, anything else at this time?
No, thank you for looking at the item and trying to make it as equitable as possible. That's all I really ask.
Exactly.
Openness and fairness is all we really would want to see.
I don't think you've heard.
It's a very timely topic, and I'd like some clear direction on this, because the whole premise of a reclassification period, if we do this on an annual basis moving forward, as an example, is that individuals can come forward and say that they're working in a different capacity and have been doing so, and we would reclass them. That's the definition of a reclassification. So it'll be good to have the conversation and get some clear parameters on it.
And I'll work offline with you, Jennifer, on putting something for our agenda. So very good. No other comments from then on to the commissioners. Janine, comments at this time?
Oh, I've got a lot of thanks. I'm blessed by the people that I work with, and all of you on this Zoom right now, but many, 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 many others outside. AFT, you're just an extraordinary group, and always so willing to talk and share and be open, and I so deeply appreciate that. Robert, you especially, but your entire executive board. all of the classified members. I wish I could have seen them in person this year. Unfortunately, I couldn't, but it's always a joy when I do get to see them in person. The HR staff, you've worked so hard and so thanklessly for the last year, and I just so deeply appreciate it. I think a lot of people don't realize that when you're in the chair position, you have a lot of phone calls, and I've spent a lot of time with Jennifer over the last year, getting to know her much better and hearing all the things that are happening behind the scenes. And there's just so much, and I'm deeply appreciative to you and all that you have done and your staff. It's so much hard work. And so I thank you for that. Outside of the room, my husband was sitting here with me until 10 minutes ago. He is my primary support, and I'm hoping he can hear me from the living room right now. He probably can't. But, you know, he sits through those phone calls. We put down dinner. We, you know, change our plans for things that are going on with the commission. And he's never once complained, and he never will complain. Comes from a family of people who were in service. His dad was a mayor of Manhattan Beach, so he understands that, but he's tremendously supportive, as is my son. I'm very appreciative to him tonight for swearing me in and for being, you know, a rock for me at all times. And last but not least, my fellow commissioners, Robin and Jeff, you two are just special people. And I just so enjoy your presence, and what a difference that makes when you're working with people who not only you enjoy, but you know, they're brilliant and they bring ideas that you would have never thought of, and make you think of things in a different way and a better way and a more global way. And so thanks so much to both of you for your support and for all you've done in the last year. I deeply appreciate it. All the administration of the college, I thank you. You know, in these times of interim, there's been a lot of strength. So I thank you for that as well. So that's it. I appreciate my year, and I very much appreciate every one of you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Janine.
Thank you, Janine.
Robin?
I just wanted to say thank you, Janine, and congratulations. Well done, well deserved. And
Thank
earned.
you.
We didn't give you anything. You earned it.
Thank you.
I don't know if we give you a plaque or something. Or,
No plaque. We haven't even
No plaque.
we haven't even given Dick Gaylord a going away
I know.
party. Until
Yeah.
we celebrate Gaylord, there's no plaques.
Yeah, exactly right. Exactly. Right.
So I will finish our 2021 year with, I wish everyone the very best during the holidays. Give thanks to everything we do have, obviously. And I look forward to 2022 for everyone individually and also as the college as a whole. I'd like to thank again everyone for support as I move into the chair, and to say thank you to Janine again for her year. Never an easy year, especially with the Zoom scenario. If you, commissioners, if you ever have any questions, please don't hesitate to contact me. I think after almost 30 years in local politics, in leadership roles, you're going to realize my style is pretty much what I tell people. This is a business meeting. This is where we show up and we do the business.
That's
and
right.
I'm pretty focused on that. And but the fortunate thing with both of you is I don't have to remind you in a polite or impolite way to get you on focus. So, but Janine, your comment about it, and I've been on boards and elected bodies where you work with people because, well, you deal with them because you don't have a choice. And it's much more enjoyable when you deal with people that you really enjoy being around and you like personally, and you also have a common goal. And the common goal is the college and the student success of the college, and making sure that we are in our role for the Personnel Commission, that certain rules and regulations are followed. As a friend of mine told me a long time ago, and I've said it repeatedly, there is a rule and a policy and a procedure for everything you do in the community college system in California. Trust me on this. So it's follow the rules, stay in your lane, and I have a tendency to run my meetings that way. If I'm moving too fast, though, I never feel bad if somebody sort of pumps the brakes a little bit and reminds me. But in my role as a chairman, I'm not sitting here. I can have a drink with you later, and we can talk about family. But when I get to this point, I'm trying to work through the agenda as quickly as possible. So don't take that offensively. It's what I've done for a long, long time. And the beauty of this, I don't have to deal with any gadflies that show up, at least not yet. So this is I've dealt with those. Trust me.
No, you have.
And they can be a challenge, but they have the right to speak too. And
right.
everyone has the right. And so if you're cordial and polite and you remind them to also be cordial and polite, and that's sometimes the challenge in the chairs, we all find out. So thank you for the opportunity to share. I really do look forward though to getting everyone there. Not because I like to wear suits, but it is just nice to be on campus, because when you do that, there's a sense of being on campus. You realize what we are here to do is really valuable. We're helping people help themselves through higher education. And it's really a remarkable thing that we provide to this community. So I'm always very proud and humbled by it. And hopefully I've always been pretty straightforward. Janine, I don't know. I don't get a lot of calls a lot of times, because when people do call me, they better have their information ready, because if they're going to give me just what they personally feel, that's fine. But what's your point?
This group has information, so they're very, very informative.
Yeah, it's one of those, and I think people know that with me, or they just don't want to talk to me because he's not going to change his mind anyway. I mean, there's always that thing you have to deal with. But anyway, I appreciate everyone's work. Jennifer, thank you so much. Everyone, Robert, everyone with classified staff. Obviously, I've always had a tremendous amount of respect and admiration for the people here at the college. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, I wish everyone the very best. It's been an interesting 2021, better than 2020. And let's all hope and pray 2022 is a good year for everyone involved. Good health and positive thoughts. So with that, this meeting is adjourned, and you all have a wonderful holiday, everyone.
Thank you.
Happy
Thanks,
holidays.
guys.
Thanks,
you so much.
guys.
Recording stopped.
Thanks, Dario.
Next week.
Happy holidays.